There are moments in life when the weight of everything feels unbearable, when the future looks uncertain, when doors seem to close one after another, and the heart quietly whispers, "I don't know how much more I can take." But in those very moments, there is something unseen surrounding you, a divine presence, a mercy that never leaves. Even when everything feels silent, you are not forgotten. Even when your prayers seem unanswered, they are being heard in ways you cannot yet understand. Do not worry too much. Every delay has wisdom, every heartbreak has purpose. Every test is carefully designed to strengthen what lies within you. There are nights when the tears fall quietly on your pillow, and no one else knows the struggle you're facing. But your Creator knows. Not a single tear escapes His knowledge, not a single sigh goes unnoticed. When your heart trembles with fear of the unknown, remember life has never been random. Every step you take, every turn you make, has already been written with divine precision. Do not think that your patience is wasted. Do not believe that your prayers are ignored. Sometimes what you're asking for is being delayed so something greater can arrive, something your heart hasn't even imagined yet. The peace you seek is not in having everything perfect, it's in trusting that you are guided, even through imperfection. When the world around you feels dark, close your eyes and whisper, "I trust you." And suddenly a strange calm begins to settle within. Because worry cannot change what's written, but faith can change how you walk through it. So today, breathe deeply. Whatever burden you're carrying, place it gently in the hands of the one who never leaves. Do your best and then surrender the rest. The same power that created you is watching over you. The same mercy that saved you before will save you again. You are not alone. You never were, and you never will be. Don't worry too much. Allah is always with you. There are moments in life when pain feels like the only language the heart understands, when you wake up with heaviness in your chest, wondering why certain things had to happen the way they did. When the people you trusted turn distant, when the doors you prayed for remain closed, and when you begin to question if there's any meaning behind all this suffering. But what if every heartbreak, every delay, every disappointment is not a punishment, but a hidden form of mercy? What if the pain you're carrying is actually shaping you into who you were always meant to be? It's hard to see the wisdom behind a storm when you're standing in the middle of it. The thunder feels too loud. The rain blinds your eyes. You can't see beyond the chaos. But time has a way of revealing what pain was trying to teach. One day you look back and realize that moment you thought would break you actually built you. Every hardship carries a message, but only those who slow down and listen with their hearts can hear it. Sometimes the message is patience, sometimes it's faith, and sometimes it's learning to let go of what was never meant to stay. You see, life isn't about having everything go your way. It's about learning to trust even when things don't. It's about believing that behind the uncertainty, there's a divine wisdom unfolding quietly, a wisdom that sees what you can't, that knows what's coming next. When something slips from your hands, it's natural to grieve. It's human to feel pain, but faith whispers, maybe it wasn't taken from you. Maybe it was removed for you. Because not everything you lose is a loss. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's redirection, and sometimes it's preparation for something better that you can't yet see. Think of a seed buried in the dark soil. To the seed, it must feel like the end covered, unseen, pressed down by the weight of the earth. But in truth, that darkness is where growth begins. That pressure is what cracks it open so that new life can emerge, and the same is true for your soul. The pressure you feel is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to awaken you. There's wisdom in heartbreak, it teaches compassion. There's wisdom in waiting, it teaches patience. There's wisdom in loss, it teaches detachment from what's temporary. Every struggle carries within it a hidden lesson that makes you softer, wiser, and closer to your Creator. Sometimes you ask, why me? And the answer, though silent, is sacred, because you are strong enough for this. Because there's a version of you waiting on the other side of this trial, a version that cannot exist without this very experience. You might not understand it now, and that's okay. Faith is not about having all the answers, it's about trusting the one who does. When life doesn't make sense, faith whispers, it's okay, this too has meaning. And maybe that's what divine wisdom really is, a way of saying, you are being guided, even through the confusion. You may not see the path clearly, but you are still being led. You may not know the reason yet, But one day you'll look back and say, if that hadn't happened, I would have never grown into who I am today. Every hardship, no matter how heavy, is a silent teacher. It doesn't speak in words, it speaks through transformation. It pushes you to pray when you've forgotten how. It teaches you to find peace not in outcomes, but in surrender. It strips away illusions and reminds you that nothing in this world is permanent, not pain, not joy, not even the storm you're in right now. So when life feels unbearable, when your heart aches and your plans fall apart, pause for a moment. Breathe, remind yourself, there is wisdom in this, even if I can't see it yet. You're being shaped in the fire of difficulty, not burned by it. Because what fire does to gold, hardship does to the heart. It purifies, it refines, it reveals your true strength. Every hardship carries divine wisdom. And the moment you start to see your pain as part of your growth, the burden begins to feel lighter, not because the struggle disappears, but because your heart finally understands that it was never meaningless. There comes a time in every heart's journey when silence becomes louder than any voice, when the people who once understood you suddenly don't, when the phone stays quiet, the messages go unanswered, and you start to feel like you're standing in the middle of a crowd, yet somehow invisible. It's in those moments that loneliness begins to whisper, softly at first, then louder each day, you're on your own. But here's the truth that loneliness tries to hide: you have never truly been alone. Even in your quietest nights, when your tears fall unnoticed by the world, there is one who sees them. Even when your heart aches for comfort and no one knows the right words to say, there is a presence that listens to what your lips cannot express. Even when you feel abandoned, you are being gently held in ways you cannot see. The world often measures companionship by how many people stand beside you, but faith reminds you that real companionship begins when you remember who stands within you. It's not always about human connection, it's about divine connection. The one who formed your heart knows exactly how to heal it. The one who wrote your story already knows how it ends. There are nights when loneliness feels unbearable, nights when you scroll endlessly, searching for something to fill the emptiness, but nothing feels right. That ache you feel is not a sign of emptiness, it's a sign of longing for the one who never leaves. Your heart is simply trying to return home. You see, the Creator placed a piece of Himself within you, a sacred connection that can never be broken, no matter how far you drift. And that's why even when the world turns its back, something inside still whispers, keep going. That whisper is not from the world, it's from the one who has been with you since the beginning. Sometimes being alone is not a curse. It's a divine invitation, a moment to rediscover your soul. When everyone walks away, that's when you finally have space to hear the one voice that truly matters. And in that stillness, something beautiful happens. Your pain begins to speak to your purpose. Your emptiness becomes a vessel for light. And you realize that solitude was never meant to break you, it was meant to rebuild you. You are never truly alone because the one who created you doesn't just watch you from afar. He is closer to you than your own heartbeat. Closer than the breath that carries your name. He is with you in every rise and fall, in every heartbeat that still dares to believe when everything else has fallen apart. Maybe you've been trying to fill your loneliness with people, with distractions, with noise. But none of those things can touch the part of you that aches for divine closeness. No human presence can replace the comfort that comes from surrendering your loneliness to the one who understands it perfectly. You are seen in your silence, you are heard in your heartbreak, you are loved in your loneliness. The night that feels endless to you is still lit by His mercy. There will be moments when you question if anyone would notice if you disappeared. But He noticed you before you were even born. He has watched every step, every stumble, every rise. He has never turned away even when you did. Loneliness can sometimes be the gentle nudge that brings you back to prayer. It can remind you that no worldly comfort can replace spiritual connection. And when you finally lift your hands trembling, broken, but honest, you realize that the very one you were searching for has been beside you all along. Every tear you've cried has been seen. Every silent prayer you've whispered in exhaustion has been heard, and every lonely night has been wrapped in unseen mercy. You are never truly alone because the one who sustains your soul has never left you. He was there when you felt unseen, he was there when you broke, and he will be there when you rise again. So, when loneliness visits, don't run from it, sit with it. Let it remind you that you were never abandoned, only redirected toward the one who loves you most. In the stillness, in the silence, in the ache, he is there, always. You are never truly alone, you never were, and you never will be. There is a deep restlessness that lives inside every human heart, the desire to know when. When will the pain fade? When will the doors open? When will life finally start making sense again? We live in a world that teaches us to rush everything, to chase answers, to demand results, to measure life by how quickly things happen. But divine timing doesn't follow human clocks. It moves with a wisdom that our impatience cannot yet comprehend. You pray for something, you hope for it with all your heart, and when it doesn't come, frustration begins to grow. You start to wonder, why is this taking so long? But maybe the delay isn't a denial. Maybe it's a hidden form of protection. Maybe you're not being punished, you're being prepared. Trusting the timing of Allah is one of the hardest things to do because it requires surrender. It requires you to let go of your own expectations and believe that the plan unfolding, even when it looks nothing like what you imagined, is still good for you. You see, sometimes Allah holds what you think you need, not to hurt you, but to heal you. He delays what you want because he knows it would arrive too soon, before your heart is ready, before your character is strong enough to carry it. He slows down your journey not to make you suffer, but to strengthen your soul. Think about a flower. It doesn't bloom the moment you plant it. It spends time hidden beneath the soil, unseen, silent, growing roots where no one can see. Then, when the time is right, when it's ready to face the sun, it blooms effortlessly. And that's exactly how divine timing works. There are things you're praying for right now that you're not ready to receive, and that's not a failure, it's mercy. Because Allah doesn't just give you what you ask for, He gives you what you're ready for. And readiness often comes through patience, pain, and waiting. Maybe you're in a season of silence right now. You're praying, but you hear no answer. You're trying, but nothing seems to move. It's tempting to believe you've been forgotten, but silence doesn't mean absence. Sometimes silence means that something is being arranged for you behind the scenes, something so perfectly timed that when it finally arrives, you'll realize why the wait was necessary. The same Allah who split the sea for Musa, who brought Yusuf out of the well, who transformed the Prophet's hardship into victory, that same Allah is managing your story too. Every delay, every detour, every unanswered prayer, they're all threads being woven into something meaningful. And one day, you'll look back and see how every not yet was actually a wait. I'm preparing something better. Trusting the timing of Allah is like standing in the dark, holding a lantern that only lights one step at a time. You can't see the whole path, but you take each step, trusting that more light will come when you need it. That's how faith works, not knowing everything, but still believing that what's meant for you will never miss you. You might feel like you're running out of time, but remember, the one who controls time is never late. He knows exactly when your heart will be ready, when the door should open, when the chapter should begin. And until that moment, He's still writing your story in the most beautiful way. So slow down, stop comparing your timeline to others. You are not behind, you're on divine schedule. Your journey is unique. Your growth has its own rhythm, and every moment of waiting is a silent lesson in trust, patience, and surrender. You don't need to rush what Allah has already written for you. What's yours will come not too early, not too late, but exactly when it's meant to. And when it does, you'll realize it arrived at the perfect moment, not because you forced it, but because you trusted. So while you wait, don't lose heart. Keep doing what you can, keep praying, keep believing. Because waiting with faith is not a waste of time, it's an act of worship. And when your patience finally meets His timing, it will all make sense. Trust the timing of Allah because His plan is never delayed. It's simply preparing you for the day it will bloom beautifully, right on time. There are nights when your mind refuses to rest, when thoughts spin endlessly, replaying every what if, every regret, every possible outcome you can't control. Your heart races as your mind wanders into the unknown, trying to solve problems that only time and divine will can unfold. We've all been there, trapped in the web of worry, believing that if we think enough, plan enough, or prepare enough, we can somehow change what's meant to be. But the truth is, no amount of worry has ever rewritten destiny. Worry only exhausts the soul, while faith refreshes it. You see, destiny doesn't bend to human fear. It unfolds exactly as it's meant to, not according to your timing, but according to divine wisdom. Every event in your life, every person you meet, every door that opens or closes is written with precision long before your first breath. So why burden your heart with the illusion of control? Worry is heavy. It steals the present moment, filling your days with tension and your nights with unrest. It makes you live every painful possibility before it even happens, but faith lightens that weight. Faith says, I don't know how this will work out, but I trust that it will. The difference between worry and faith isn't about what you face, it's about how you face it. Both walk through storms, but only one finds peace within them. Faith doesn't erase pain or uncertainty, but it gives your heart a place to rest in the middle of it. Imagine a child holding a parent's hand while walking through a crowded street. The child doesn't need to know where they're going, they just hold on tightly, trusting that the one leading knows the way. That's what faith feels like. You may not know what tomorrow holds, but you hold on to the one who holds tomorrow. And when you do that, something begins to change. The heart softens, the mind slows down. You start to realize that worrying doesn't stop problems, it only stops peace. Faith doesn't remove uncertainty, but it gives you the strength to live calmly inside it. Maybe you're facing something right now that feels unbearable. You keep asking yourself, what if it never gets better? But pause for a moment and remember, how many times in your past did you think you wouldn't make it? And yet here you are, you survived, you healed. You grew, and every single time it wasn't worry that carried you, it was faith. Worry whispers, you're not safe. Faith replies, you're in good hands. Worry says, you're losing control. Faith reminds you, you were never meant to control, only to trust. When you choose faith over worry, you begin to see the world differently. You stop chasing certainty and start embracing surrender. You stop overthinking the path and start walking it with peace. It doesn't mean you stop caring or stop trying, it means you do your best, then hand the rest to the one who decides outcomes. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Because faith is not about giving up, it's about giving over what was never truly yours to manage. The prophet once said that even if the whole world gathered to harm you, they could not harm you except with what was already written. And if the whole world gathered to benefit you, they could not benefit you except with what was already decreed. So why fear what has already been destined? Why carry the burden of something already in divine hands? Peace doesn't come from knowing how everything will work out. Peace comes from knowing who is in control when you don't. And that realization, that quiet surrender, is where your heart finally exhales. Every time worry begins to rise, remind yourself, this moment, this challenge, this uncertainty, it's all part of a plan that cannot fail. You may not understand it, but you are being led exactly where you need to be. Let faith replace the noise of your thoughts with silence. Let trust calm the storm inside you, because the more you surrender, the lighter life feels. And the lighter life feels, the clearer you see that destiny was never something to fear, it was always something to trust. Worry cannot change destiny, but faith, quiet, unwavering faith, can turn even the darkest nights into peace. There comes a point in every journey when the heart grows tired of fighting battles it cannot win, tired of carrying burdens it cannot fix, tired of pretending it understands what's happening. It's in that quiet exhaustion that surrender begins, not as defeat, but as freedom. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of the illusion that you were ever in full control. It means unclenching your fists after years of trying to force life into your own plans and opening your palms instead, ready to receive whatever your Creator has written for you. Most people think peace comes from getting what they want. But real peace begins when you stop demanding and start trusting, when you stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" and start whispering, "I trust there's a reason." That shift, that quiet, unseen transformation inside the heart is what surrender feels like. Because when you finally surrender, you stop wrestling with life. You stop arguing with destiny. You stop questioning every closed door, every delayed answer, every path that didn't lead where you thought it would. You begin to see that everything has always been part of something bigger, a design more intricate than you could ever imagine. Surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the moment your soul stops running from reality and begins to flow with it. It's the courage to say, even if I don't understand this now, I still believe it's for my good. Think about the sea for a moment. Its waves rise and fall endlessly. They never resist the pull of the tide, they surrender to it, and in that surrender lies their rhythm, their beauty, their peace. In the same way, when the heart aligns with divine will, when it stops resisting and starts trusting, peace begins to flow naturally, deep and still, like the calm beneath the surface of the ocean. True surrender doesn't mean you stop caring or stop trying. It means you act, you hope, you plan, but you no longer tie your peace to the outcome. You do your part, and then you let the rest unfold without fear. You begin to understand that what's meant for you will always find you, and what's not meant for you will gently slip away no matter how tightly you hold on. The most peaceful people are not those who have perfect lives, but those who have learned to trust a perfect plan. They've accepted that not every prayer is answered the way they expect, but every prayer is heard in the way that's best. They've learned that sometimes losing what you wanted is the greatest mercy you could ever receive. Surrender is a form of worship. It's when your heart whispers, I may not have control, but I know who does. It's when you stop running after certainty and start resting in divine wisdom. It's when the need to understand is replaced by the willingness to trust. So many people live in turmoil because they're fighting life, fighting what has already been written, arguing with what was never theirs to change. But the moment you stop fighting, peace begins to arrive quietly, gently, like dawn after the longest night. Sometimes surrender looks like walking away from something you once prayed for. Sometimes it means staying patient when everything inside you wants to rush. And sometimes it's simply saying, I don't know why this is happening, but I choose to believe it's for the best. It's not easy. The ego hates surrender. It wants control, it wants answers, it wants guarantees. But the soul only wants peace. And peace comes when you stop insisting that life must go your way, and instead start trusting that life is already going the right way. There's a beauty that blooms in a surrendered heart, a calm that no chaos can shake, a softness that no storm can destroy. Because when you truly surrender, you no longer live from fear, you live from faith. And in that space, peace doesn't have to be chased anymore, it becomes your natural state. The noise of the world may still surround you, but it can no longer disturb you, because within you, something greater has awakened, a deep, silent knowing that whatever happens, you will be okay. True peace doesn't come from controlling life. It comes from trusting the one who controls it. And once your heart truly learns that, you'll stop fighting, stop fearing, and start living in quiet surrender. That's where peace begins, not in certainty, not in answers, but in trust, in letting go, in whispering from the depths of your heart, I surrender and I am at peace. There are moments in life when you sit quietly and wonder how you made it through certain days. The nights when your heart was breaking, the mornings when you couldn't find the strength to rise, the days when everything seemed impossible, yet somehow you survived. You didn't see it then, but you were being carried. You didn't realize it, but mercy was holding you when you thought you were standing alone. Allah's mercy is not something that arrives only when you ask for it. It's been there since your very first breath. It's the unseen force that has guided you through storms, softened your pain, and given you reasons to smile again after every fall. Even when you strayed, mercy followed. Even when you forgot, mercy remembered you. Sometimes it's hard to recognize mercy because it doesn't always come wrapped in comfort. Sometimes it comes disguised as loss, delay, or change. Sometimes it arrives through closed doors and heartbreaks that force you to take a different path, a path that later reveals itself to be far better than the one you begged for. That's the mystery of mercy. It often hides within the very things you feared most. When life hurts, it's easy to believe you've been left alone, but the truth is, Allah's mercy is closest when your heart feels weakest. It doesn't abandon you in hardship, it surrounds you quietly, even when you can't feel it. It's in the way you're given strength to endure one more day, in the way you're guided to the right words, the right people, the right moments just when you need them most. Look back for a moment. How many times did you think something was the end, only to find it was a new beginning? How many times did you cry over what you lost, only to realize later that you were being redirected towards something greater? That's mercy, not in the form you expected, but in the form you needed. Mercy is not just in answered prayers, it's also in unanswered ones. It's in the moments you were protected from what you thought you wanted. It's in the detours that felt like delays but turned out to be divine protection. It's in the forgiveness you receive every time you return after falling short again and again. And the most beautiful thing about divine mercy is that it doesn't depend on your perfection. It's not earned by never making mistakes. It's a gift that continues despite them. You may stumble, forget, or lose your way, but mercy is patient. It waits for you, it welcomes you, it restores you. Even now, while you read these words, that same mercy surrounds you in the steady rhythm of your heartbeat, in the air you breathe without asking for it, in the countless blessings you overlook because they've become part of your everyday life. Mercy is the gentle sunrise after a long night. It's the peace that suddenly fills your chest when you thought you were about to break. It's the strength that appears in the middle of despair, whispering, "You're not finished yet." And no matter how far you go, how lost you feel, or how broken you become, mercy doesn't walk away. You might turn from it, but it never turns from you, because Allah's mercy isn't limited to your goodness. It's born from His endless compassion. When you remember that, everything changes. You stop defining yourself by your mistakes. You stop fearing that one wrong turn will destroy you. You begin to see that every fall can lead you closer to Him, and every hardship can awaken a deeper understanding of His love. The same mercy that protected you as a child still surrounds you now. The same mercy that saved you in your lowest moments is still guiding you gently forward, and it will never leave, not in this life, not in the next. Sometimes the soul needs to be reminded, you are not walking through life alone, you are walking within mercy itself. Every breath you take is proof of that love. Every moment you're still standing is a sign that His care never paused, not for a single heartbeat. So when you feel unseen, when life grows heavy, whisper to your heart, His mercy has never left me, it's still here. Because even in your silence, you're being held. Even in your mistakes, you're being forgiven. Even in your darkness, you are being guided toward light. Allah's mercy has always been with you, and it always will be. It was there before you knew how to ask for it, and it will remain long after every worry fades away. There comes a moment, often quiet, often unseen, when the heart begins to understand. After all the storms, the sleepless nights, the aching prayers whispered into the darkness, you start to see what it was all for. You realize that every tear you shed watered the seeds of your growth. Every unanswered question became a doorway to deeper trust, and every pain that once felt unbearable was actually shaping you into someone softer, wiser, closer to Allah. You see, nothing in your story was random. Every delay, every heartbreak, every disappointment, all of it was written with divine precision. You were never being punished, you were being prepared. Prepared to see beyond the surface of life, to look past the chaos and notice the quiet thread of mercy that was there all along. When you stop fighting the flow of destiny, something beautiful happens, peace begins to bloom. Not the kind of peace that depends on perfect circumstances, but the kind that lives deep within your chest, untouched by the noise of the world. Because now you understand, you were never alone. Through every hardship, there was a wisdom guiding you. Through every silence, there was a presence listening. Through every loss, there was mercy waiting to reveal itself. There were times when you begged for the storm to end, but now you see the storm was teaching you how to stand. You asked for ease and you were given strength instead. You prayed for answers and you were given faith. You wanted control, but you were gifted surrender, the kind of surrender that sets the heart free. And this is the secret of peace. It isn't found in getting what you want, but in trusting the one who knows what you need. It's not about having all the answers, but about resting in the truth that Allah never makes mistakes. Every moment unfolds exactly as it should. Even the ones that break you, especially the ones that break you, are wrapped in divine purpose. You begin to see how worry was only stealing your calm, how fear was only clouding your faith, How overthinking was keeping you from hearing the soft whisper of assurance that was always there. Don't worry, I am with you. And suddenly the past no longer feels like a collection of painful memories. It feels like a love story between you and the one who never left you. Every scar becomes a reminder, not of what you lost, but of how deeply you were carried. You stop asking why me and begin to say thank you. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the patience I didn't know I had. Thank you for every closed door that protected me from what I couldn't see. Now your soul understands what words could never explain, that every hardship carried divine wisdom, that you were never truly alone, that the timing of everything, even the delays, was perfect, that worry could never change destiny, but faith could bring peace. That true peace lies not in control, but in surrender, and that Allah's mercy, quiet, constant, infinite, has always been with you, and always will be. You realize that the entire journey was not about reaching a destination, but about returning to trust, returning to stillness, returning to the awareness that you have always been in His care. And as you look toward tomorrow, you no longer fear what's coming. You've learned that even when life feels uncertain, your soul can rest in certainty, the certainty that nothing happens outside of His mercy. You breathe differently now. You walk slower, speak gentler, worry less, because your heart has finally found what it was searching for, a place of quiet trust, a home within divine love. So let this be your reminder, no matter how heavy life feels right now, no matter how far you think you've gone, you are still surrounded by the same mercy that carried you through every storm. Keep walking, keep believing, keep trusting the process that was written just for you. And when your heart trembles again, as it will when fear returns or loneliness whispers, close your eyes and remember, you are not forgotten. You are not unseen, you are not alone, because the one who created your heart still holds it, and He never lets go.